as an example. As we head down the stretch to Election Day, a new method of statistical sampling has originated in Shreveport that could change the face of political polling forever. Vantage Data House is the brainchild of two men, Bishop George and Jim Kitchens. Tonight we go in depth to see how they work closely with the BRF's Entrepreneurial Accelerator program to get their business off the ground and to find out what it does.
Some of the algorithms that they use, the technology behind the whole platform, it's really disruptive in the polling industry. And we've seen that they have been very successful at the polls that they have run, and it's intriguing to be able to see all of that data in one platform.
By way of testing during Louisiana's 2023 elections, Vantage Data House accurately predicted 97% of races up to 5 months out from Election Day.
We adopted a polling methodology that I was familiar with but never been really used in politics. But Pew Research uses it, particularly like on international polling. The Census Bureau uses it. And what we do is do very large samples in a state, and it allows us to drill down to the congressional level, to the legislative district level, and even to the county level.
The Vantage House method is called Authenticated Predictive Projections.
It's a mathematical algorithm that says we look at the makeup of a district on 5 factors, what their education is, what's your age, what's your party registration, what's your race, and what's your gender.
From there, Vantage Data House can drill down on a district. It's been field tested in 5 states and academically reviewed by the universities of Kansas and Missouri.
We did our first big test in Louisiana where we had 30 races we looked at, and we would do our projections for people. And then in some of them, we'd go in and actually do a poll, a traditional poll in the district to make sure the numbers matched up and that our projections were working.
And they were. Business-wise, Vantage Data House switched up the norm.
We simply changed the business model where instead of individuals going out and buying a $15,000 to $80,000 poll, what we did was just switch it to a membership model, right? Where you're just leasing the information from us. Instead of you going paying all that for one poll, that one snapshot in time, you become a member with us for a fraction of the cost, and you get access to 130,000 polls for just $416 a month.
Vantage Data had to automate to accommodate up to 40,000 respondents per state.
The margin of error is so small because you have asked so many people their preferences. It's just much harder to get it wrong.
And all that information is updated every single day. Now, could Alexander see it replacing traditional polling methods?
I could, because it's far cheaper. We're no longer sample size 400. We may now be a sample size of 4,000 or 14,000
or more.
Or more. Dr. Kitchens has been doing this polling and this kind of statistical sampling for 50 years. So his methodology is as solid as there is.
By way of example, on the day these interviews were conducted, I asked Vantage Data to take a look at the congressional race in Louisiana's new District 6.
So you come here, you go to the congressional district, we'll go to 6, and we'll look at U.S. House. So right now, Cleo Fields is winning 42.9% to Guillory's 24.8%. We actually created the first ever automated polling experience ever invented.
It doesn't necessarily even have to be a political poll. It could be a poll about any type of information.
But nobody's ever approached politics this way.
Nobody's ever approached politics that way. And we have with us in the studio tonight Bishop George. Thank you, Bishop, for being here.
Thank you.
One of the creators of Vantage Data House, and very interesting and fascinating, as a matter of fact. We want you to take, just explain and show a little bit about how this system works. And by way of an example, let's look at Louisiana Congressional District 6 as it stands today.
Okay, great. So we actually updated this data right before we went on.
Okay.
So the latest update is October 29th. Currently, you can see Elbert Guillory has 27% of the vote share. Cleo Fields has 45%. Quentin Anderson has 8%, and currently there's 18% undecided.
All right, so we're looking at a live picture of the data here right now, and go ahead and change that if you need to. That's fine. But what we talked about is, or what I wanted to ask you is, do you see a runoff in this race?
Currently, no. With 45% of the vote share, 18% of the undecided, I expect those to break proportionately. And so come election day, it would be hard pressed to say there would be a runoff. Currently, Anderson and Guillory, only around 75% of the electorate don't know who they are. And so it'd be very difficult for them to, either one of them, make it to a runoff with Cleo Fields.
All right, we just had our computer die here now. So I want to ask you about this. This was an analysis Vantage Data House did of the presidential race. Go ahead and pop up that full screen. We'll show you what the headline says on this. Well, I'll just read it for you. It says, "The blowout that no one sees coming." The blowout that no one sees coming. Tell me what that means.
Yeah, so we've been tracking this race, the presidential, and actually we're tracking over 1,500 races this cycle in all the swing states. And right now we have around 120,000 respondents within those states. It's one of the largest public opinion databases ever assembled in the swing states. And from September, I would tell you that I thought Trump was going to win this election. But come beginning of October, something really interesting occurred, which was women and independent voters started to break heavily for Harris. And in particular, where I think everyone does have it wrong is in North Carolina and Georgia, which we have Harris up 3 points in each state.
Wow.
Yep. And so in North Carolina in particular, when you start looking down ballot at the gubernatorial race with the Republican candidate Mark Robinson, who's currently trailing by 17 points. For Trump to take that state, it would have to be an 18-point split ticket margin, which would be historic. And so very, very unlikely. And what I always tell people is, like, I'm not a fortune teller, but what I can tell you is what is most likely to occur based off our data. And what is most likely to occur is a Harris victory, and I expect it to be an early night on Tuesday.
All right. Well, this is a brand new political polling system originating right here in Shreveport. We'll see what happens on Tuesday night.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Bishop George, one of the creators of Vantage Data House. Let's move on. More political news.